Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good to have you here with us today. It's a gorgeous day here. I'm in a wildlife nature reserve in a little town called Hobe Sound in Florida. In Florida here, so it's beautiful. I think it might be windy, but hopefully it's not going to affect our audio too much. But I wanted to, I was reading this morning, if you caught our live stream on Monday night, I was talking about YouVersion and the Bible app. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Hopefully you are, and some of the, Discover tools in it and all that kind of stuff. But so I've been a fan of YouVersion for a while. I've certainly used it for years, and I'm in the middle of a devotional plan. So inside of YouVersion, they have these things called these devotional plans. And I'm in the middle of this plan right now, and it's about trust and faith, or trust and obey. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's a good one. And so this morning I was reading this devotion, and it kind of I woke up and I was like, all right, before I even get into any social media or anything, any of the worldly garbage that we have to deal with every day, I wanted to stop and read a devotion and maybe tie it into a couple of cool verses. So this devotion, I literally just wanted to read the devotion and then maybe talk about it. And I'm trying to see if I'm staying on the right path here. I don't think I am. So let me go back to this path. But maybe I'll just hang right here. It's kind of a cool background. I like that background. I got that cool tree. But let me just read this devotion, and then we can talk about it a little bit, because it's a good one. It's all about trust. Okay, so in today's world, we place a high value on safety and tend to worship at the altar of convenience, avoiding discomfort at all cost. This should not be the case for God's children. Throughout Scripture, we find that God is glorified and our faith is strengthened when safety and comfort are secondary to following Him. His desire is for us to live in the faith zone, not the safe zone. Okay? And then a couple of examples. When Jesus invited Peter to jump out of the boat during a storm, that wasn't safe, right? It wasn't. When God called Moses to meet him at the top of Mount Sinai amid thunder, lightning, earthquakes, fire, and smoke, that wasn't safe. When the Israelites were being chased by the Egyptian army, they didn't run away on dry land, but instead obeyed and walked straight into the sea. That wasn't safe, right? God is an all-powerful being, and He fears nothing. When we understand that our safety and security are only found in Him, we too can be bold and fearless. When we trust and obey His voice, He is glorified, our faith is strengthened, and our love for Him grows. If Peter chose safety over following Jesus, he would not have experienced the miracle of walking on water, right? It took courage from Moses to climb Mount Sinai, but had he not, he would have missed being in the presence of God Himself. His faith allowed him to witness God's glory, as well as the honor of personally speaking with Him, right? Kind of amazing. If the Israelites chose to take the safer path of the hard ground over sinking waters, they would not have been able to witness the power of God to rescue them by miraculously separating the waters of the Red Sea. Kind of a neat way of looking at it as well. Our Heavenly Father commands us not to be afraid or discouraged, because He is with us always, right? Jesus never sat on the sidelines, and neither should we. As His representatives, we should be bold and we should have courage. Understanding that a soul sealed by God is eternally safe. For those who have put their faith in Jesus, even death has been conquered and our victory secured. When we walk with Him, the one who isn't safe is the enemies of our soul. And I kind of got into that devotion this morning. I was like, man, there's just so much in there. And I was hoping that I could flip over to maybe some of the verses that it referred to. But of course, let's see. Yeah, here they are, right? Let me just read a couple of verses. Joshua 1:9, as you know, one of my favorites. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid. Don't be dismayed, for God is with us wherever we go. Another one was Proverbs 28:1. The wicked flee when no man pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God gave us not a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and love and discipline. And then Psalm 27:1 says, Jehovah is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Jehovah is my strength. Whom shall I be afraid? So I kind of got caught up in this devotion a little bit. Hang on, I'm doing a couple things at once. But the one example, obviously, well, those three examples that they talked about. One being, if Peter hadn't jumped out of that boat in the middle of the storm, he never would have walked on water. And the other one was if Moses hadn't climbed that mountain, he never would have seen God and then actually spoken to him. So thinking on what that looks like in our own lives and how sometimes we let fear, there's a couple of bald eagles over there. That is pretty cool. How we let fear take kind of this stranglehold of us. And what we can't see on the other side of the fear is what happens. And yes, get it. Totally a human reaction to this emotion, right? This fear. I have a song called Fear Not, and it's all about just knowing that the Father is with us, even when we can't feel it or see it. But this idea that Peter never would have walked on water had he not conquered his fear. Now, a little easier for Peter, right? Jesus was right there. They were buds. It's not like Jesus was going to let him sink. But still, still looking at it, his fear, if he said, you know what, Jesus, I'm good. Why don't you come to me? Or I'm just going to hang here. We can talk from a distance. And that's not what the plan was. The plan was, Peter, walk on the water, come out, experience this miracle for yourself. And so, look, I know, easier said than done. Definitely not something that we try to put ourselves into, like, oh, let's go find something that we're afraid of and beat it. But maybe actually that is something that we can and should be doing a little more often, right? That fear that we struggle with every day, we never know where it's going to lead us. And Peter didn't know that it was going to lead him to walking on water. He just said, you know what? Faith, I've got it. I'm going for it. And Moses, making that trip up to the mountain, he didn't know he was going to see God there. He didn't know he was going to experience him, talk to him. I don't know. So today, just thinking on this devotion, thinking on the idea of fear. Yeah, we've talked about it before, for sure. I've certainly sung about it a bunch. Hey, little bud. There's a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a cool little gecko right there. Hey, dude. I've certainly sung about fear a lot. And it's not easy struggling with fear. I've said this certainly many times at shows. I'm just like, man, so many people have told me about their stories of fear and what it looks like and how sometimes they can't even get out of bed in the morning because their fears is so paralyzing. So maybe here's what I'm asking about today, and I'm gonna start. All right. So the question, the thought process for today is, okay, give me just one example of your fear being defeated by your faith in the Father. And look, this isn't like to call you out and say, I don't have one. Because if you don't have one, that's okay. That's totally cool. But if you've got one, use it to inspire others, right? Use it to let other people know that, God is walking with them. So my story, as a bunch of you know, the big one was leaving a full-time job and starting this full-time ministry. It's been over 3 years now, and through those 3 years, it's been interesting, it's been uncertain, and to be honest with you, every day is still interesting and uncertain, and that's okay. Do I rest in my faith all the time? Nope. Do I worry about everything? Yep. But do I trust the Father? I do. Do I lean on him like I should? I don't. But overall, where am I going here? This looks interesting. Fisherman's Trail dead end. We'll see where this leads. But overall, he has been faithful through it all. He's been encouraging through it all. I've definitely seen prayers get answered. Are you guys checking out this background here? I feel like I'm in like some weird rainforest. Stop right here. We can just kind of hang in this amazingness. But through it all, he's been faithful. And through it all, I've seen him work in ways that I never, ever thought were possible. And so these are the stories that I'm looking for. These stories of overcoming. These stories of not being sure of where it's all going to go and then jumping anyways. Just going for it. And look, we're not called to be stupid, right? We're not called to make just dumb decisions, but we are called to have a little faith in the Father. And so those three examples and the devotion this morning just kind of reiterated my own walk with him and reiterated my own faith and trust in him and my own inability to even begin to have enough faith to make it all work. Just being honest. But I look back now, and the beauty of it is, like, I'm going to walk through this section again because it's so cool. But the beauty of this is that when you get into this age bracket, I don't want to say I'm old, I don't want to say I'm young, but somewhere in the middle, you get into these places where you can actually see the Father working. And I look back on my life now. Let's just take the last 30 years of your life, okay? If you're 30, go back to 20, I don't know, 15. But seeing him working in ways that you never thought were even possible, or ways that you didn't even realize he was working at the time. Like, I look back on job decisions that I've made. I look back on just the relationship with my wife, and just looking at how that all came together and how the Father was intricately weaving it all together, leaves me speechless. And I'm sure you can do the same thing. And I'm hoping that you do today. I hope that today you take the time to just be like, okay, let me stop, focus, and think on just where he's been walking with me and what he's been doing with me. And just look back and maybe break out a journal, start writing it down. I'm working on a book right now, and it's causing me to slow down, first of all, but also just think of some stuff that's happened in the past and about what God has done through it all, and the lessons that I've learned and all that stuff. So today, fear, yeah, 100%. Totally. Like, part of life. Welcome to it. But faith, yeah. If you call yourself a Christian, faith, part of life, welcome to it. Trust, surrender, yeah, just part of what it is. But God's good. He's walking with us every moment. If we put our faith in him, if we abide in him, we've been learning this in chapter 15 of John, 14 and 15. where his command over and over and over again is to abide in him. He is abiding in us. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. But our choice has to be to abide in him so that we can experience the fullness of the Father. Kind of amazing. Kind of amazing. All right, so that's the call for today. Go hang out in Joshua 1:9. Be strong, courageous, don't be afraid, for the Lord is with you. Believe it, right? Embrace it. Let it be part of your walk today. Go check out those. I'll list all those verses in the notes, but go check out those verses in Psalms. Just take a breath. You guys that are listening on the podcast, sorry, but you're missing some really good views here. But I'm gonna maybe turn around, and as we finish out this video devotion, I'll shoot some footage of all of this. But today, take a breath. The fear, yeah, it's here, no doubt. But the Father, yeah, he's here, no doubt. Okay? Rest in that today. And faith, let it be a part of your walk today, and let him just lead you through it all. I continually seek him daily, and I mess up all the time, but I still seek him because I know that he's there walking with me, and he's such a good Father. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, if you want to be a part of our community, please do head over to Join Dave's Band. I'm going to offer you up the entry level membership. It's just an online digital membership. It gives you access to all the digital stuff that we have, over 400 hours of content, more devotions like this, written devotions, video devotions, worship videos, a community of people that are desperately seeking Jesus every single day. So join us. Head over to joindaysbandonline.com. Get started right there. And if you love it, you can upgrade if you want, or just get involved. But just get involved in our community. Like, be involved in this, because we need you. And get more content like this, and just kind of find more ways to walk with Jesus every single day. Okay? Sound good? Head over to joindaysbandonline.com. Get involved, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Prayers up for you today.